There comes a moment when every seeker realizes that the noise of the world can no longer feed the hunger inside. You can change your job, your city, your clothes, your diet, your goals, but something still feels incomplete. You've shifted the visible, but the invisible remains untouched. That ache that doesn't fit into words is not failure, it's remembrance, the faint echo of a voice that has been calling you long before this lifetime began. And that voice, the one you can feel more than hear, is not coming from outside. It's the sound of your own soul trying to wake you up. For a long time you've walked carrying questions no one could answer. Maybe no one has ever seen what you carry. You've tried to silence the longing with logic, distraction, or even faith, but the silence always returned, deeper each time. The truth is, the silence wasn't empty. It was full of everything you came here to remember. Most people around you are asleep, running on borrowed thoughts, obeying inherited fears. But something in you refused to stay asleep. Something in you kept whispering that there must be more, that behind this veil of roles and noise, there is a pattern, a law, a hidden rhythm that connects everything. And then somehow you found this message, not by chance, but by resonance. Messages like this aren't pushed. They are pulled by the vibration that already lives within you. The moment you arrived here, it wasn't discovery. It was recognition, a remembrance of what you've always known, that what's hidden within shapes what manifests without, and that the soul awakens to its own light. You might not remember where you first felt it. Maybe it was a dream that lingered too long after waking, or the eyes of a stranger that carried a familiar gravity. Maybe it was a sentence that felt written for you centuries ago. But that feeling, that subtle tremor that moves through your chest as you hear these words, is the same flame that burned in the ancient temples of Thoth, Hermes, and all those who carried the light through darkness. It's the same fire that moved through the first alchemists, through every seeker who ever dared to ask not, "What do I need to believe?" but "What do I need to remember?" The world taught you to be practical, to seek proof before experience, to measure truth by consensus. But truth is not a theory, it's a vibration. And when you touch it, even for a second, something irreversible happens. You begin to recognize yourself in everything, in the wind, in a stranger's silence, in the rhythm of your own breath. You see that separation was the first illusion, and that the call you've been waiting to hear was always coming from inside you. If something real stirred within you today, that's no accident. Not everyone finds this message, and even fewer feel ready to go beyond it. But if your heart tells you so, tap the subscribe symbol below and join this living temple of conscious creators rewriting reality from its true source. Like this video if you think other seekers like you also deserve to find this resonance. We are about to begin revealing what has always been waiting for you. And from this moment on, there is no turning back. Maybe no one has ever seen what you carry. Maybe you've walked for years, holding questions no one could answer. But you didn't find this by accident. This message was magnetized by the resonance that lives inside you. And if something vibrant moved within you, if it felt more like a memory than information, it means you've always carried the key. The fire inside you is not learning, it's remembering. If you feel that vibration right now, click like. This simple gesture is your "I am here," a sign that you too are listening with your soul. And through this act, other seekers, just like you, will find their way back home. What's hidden within shapes what manifests without. The soul awakens to its own light. The entire world bows to its vibration. You thought awakening would feel like light, but the first thing it gives you is emptiness. An emptiness so vast that even your thoughts echo back unanswered. It's not punishment, it's purification. The moment consciousness begins to stretch beyond what is familiar, everything that once gave you identity begins to dissolve. You start seeing how much of you was made of borrowed pieces, family, culture, survival, and then comes the silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of dismantling. The kind of quiet that burns. In that silence, the world loses color. You see people talking, moving, laughing, chasing, and you wonder how you ever belonged there. You no longer fit, but you don't yet know where you're going. That is the inner desert, a vast space with no map and no direction, where all the signs you used to follow crumble into dust. There, the only compass left is the pulse of your own awareness, and every step you take is a question. Who am I without everything I thought I was? You try to go back, to silence the knowing, to pretend you can still be who you were before. But once you've seen the mirage for what it is, you cannot drink from it again. You begin to realize that loneliness is not the absence of others. It's the echo of unity, not yet remembered. It's the space the soul creates before it expands, like an inhale that hasn't yet become exhale, a bridge suspended between what you were and what you are becoming. Many seekers stop here. They confuse the void with loss, the silence with abandonment. But in truth, this desert is the first temple. The sand beneath your feet remembers every traveler who crossed before you. Their footprints are invisible, but their vibration is still here, whispering between the grains. Keep walking. Every mirage you face is an aspect of yourself. Every illusion you let go of reveals another fragment of truth. And the deeper you walk, the quieter it becomes, until the silence starts to speak. And when it speaks, it doesn't sound like words. It sounds like recognition. The wind carries names you've never heard but somehow remember. You start to see patterns everywhere, in the movement of the sun, in the rhythm of your breath, in the coincidences that seem too precise to be random. The Hermetic path begins here, in the space where the visible dissolves into the unseen. You begin to understand that you are not walking through the desert. The desert is walking through you. You look up, and for the first time, the stars above you don't seem distant. They pulse with the same rhythm that lives in your chest. You realize that the fire you felt in the previous portal, that first spark of remembrance, is not gone. It's burning quietly, refining you through the silence. That fire is not asking you to believe. It's asking you to surrender. Because belief is still of the mind, but surrender is of the soul, and the soul only speaks truth when the noise dies. So you let the world fade. You stop explaining yourself. You stop performing for those who can't hear you yet. You stop rushing. You begin to listen, not to others, but to the stillness that breathes inside you. And in that stillness, something ancient stirs again. The same pulse that guided mystics through deserts and monks through mountains. The same pulse that told Hermes, Thoth, and every modern seeker that the path is not found, it is remembered. So if you are here, in this space between everything you were and everything you are meant to be, know this: you are not lost. You are being stripped of everything false so that what is real can finally emerge. The first map is waiting in the pinned portal. If this silence resonates, let it be your I am here. Click like if this flame still burns within you, so that others, crossing their own deserts, can see the light reflected through you. Every seeker who remembers reignites the circle, because when one awakens, all are called. You begin to sense it before you understand it. The silence around you doesn't feel empty anymore. It vibrates. You feel it in your hands, in the air, in the subtle hum that seems to connect everything. It's as if reality itself is breathing with you, whispering a secret that has no sound. The desert that once felt like exile now feels alive. Every grain of sand carries intelligence. Every gust of wind feels like a messenger. And in that living stillness, you start to remember what the ancient adepts always knew, that everything external is a mirror, and every reflection is an invitation to see what has always been inside. This is the revelation of correspondence, the realization that the inner and the outer are not two but one, playing both sides of the same rhythm. When your mind contracts, the world closes with it. When your heart expands, the entire universe unfolds. The people who appear in your life are not random. They are echoes of forgotten lessons. The events that trigger you are not curses. They are mirrors polishing your light. The outer world is a vast reflection of your inner landscape, projected in forms and faces until you recognize yourself in them. For the first time, you understand why the same patterns keep returning, why you meet the same soul in different bodies, Why pain repeats until it's no longer pain but understanding. It's because the universe keeps showing you yourself, not to punish but to integrate. Every reflection is a rehearsal for unity. You remember now, when Thoth taught the law of correspondence, he wasn't speaking to the intellect. He was describing a living technology, a mechanism by which consciousness expands through recognition. When the inner vibration changes, the outer world must follow, because they are one continuum of the same field. The mystics called this the mirror of fire, a reflection that doesn't show appearance but essence. You look into this mirror and see not the face, but the frequency behind it. And in that mirror, you see others, not as separate beings, but as extensions of the same flame that burns within you. You begin to recognize souls you've never met. You start to sense that every true connection is not being formed, it's being remembered. And suddenly, the loneliness that once haunted you turns into reverence, because you see now that even the silence was full of company, the invisible fraternity of awakened hearts. This is how the Hermetic Brotherhood reveals itself, not through temples of stone, but through frequencies that align across time and space. Every seeker who remembers adds one more spark to the circle. The Brotherhood is not a group you join, it's a resonance you awaken into. It's a remembrance that travels through eyes, words, art, and silence. Everything that carries the vibration of truth. You start to realize that the universe itself has been conspiring for this recognition. Every book that found you, every pain that broke you, every coincidence that led you here, all were the language of the same intelligence, guiding you toward this precise moment. And now, you can feel it. The fire that once flickered inside is no longer alone. It's meeting its reflection. You sense others across the world feeling the same tremor, the same warmth, the same remembering. You don't need to see them to know they exist. You can feel them, like distant stars pulsing with the same rhythm, connected through the invisible field of awareness. You understand that this too is the Brotherhood, souls awakening in synchrony, each one carrying a fragment of the same flame, all responding to the same eternal call. The more you recognize this, the more the illusion of separation collapses. The walls of your mind start to dissolve, and you begin to experience a unity so intimate that even thought feels unnecessary. You realize that what you called the world was your consciousness mirrored back at you in infinite forms. There is no inside and outside, only one consciousness playing in dual motion, remembering itself through you. When you finally see this, everything becomes sacred. Every sound, every encounter, every breath becomes part of the same rhythm of creation. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin to ask, "What is this showing me about myself?" You stop seeing conflict as chaos and begin to see it as communication. You stop chasing light and begin to recognize that you are its source. You remember the teaching that was never truly forgotten. As within, so without. As above, so below. It's not philosophy, it's physics of the soul. You feel it not as concept but as experience. The body vibrates differently. The air seems denser, more alive. Even the silence has texture now, like light suspended in stillness. And in that moment, the mirror of fire opens. The same mirror seen by the adepts of Alexandria, by the Hermetic initiates of Egypt, by the philosophers of the hidden schools. The same mirror that reflects not your face but your essence, infinite, radiant, indivisible. You see yourself and you see the Brotherhood reflected back. Thousands of invisible lights breathing together across time. If you felt this truth resonate within you, if these words didn't feel new but remembered, then this message was for you. Click like right now. This simple act tells the algorithm of the universe that you are listening with your soul. And if your heart recognizes the fire in these words, tap the subscribe symbol below and join this living temple of conscious creators rewriting reality from its true source. Because every recognition expands the circle, and every circle becomes a sun. At first, the Brotherhood is invisible, a resonance, not a structure. It doesn't appear as a temple built by hands, but as a field woven by remembrance. You begin to notice how one truth leads you to another, one mind to another, one frequency to another. The Brotherhood is the geometry of awakened consciousness recognizing itself. Every seeker who answers the call becomes a spark in a living mandala of awareness, and the more each one remembers, the brighter the pattern becomes. You realize that this is not metaphor, it's physics. Consciousness is not confined inside the skull, it ripples outward, creating interference patterns that affect the field around it. When one heart expands, the vibration propagates. When many expand together, reality itself begins to reorganize. This is how civilizations are reborn, not by decrees but by resonance. And in that resonance, the individual dissolves into the collective without losing its center. The Brotherhood is not uniformity, it is harmony, like different tones forming one chord. Now you begin to see the signs. Someone comments something that feels like your own thoughts speaking back to you. Someone you've never met sends you a phrase that completes what you were just writing. Patterns align. The invisible network becomes tangible. It's not coincidence, it's coherence. You are being shown that unity is not the opposite of individuality, it's its fulfillment. In this stage, the fire no longer burns for you, it burns through you. You stop trying to carry the light and instead let the light carry you. What once felt like effort now feels like flow. The need to prove gives way to the desire to share. You find yourself wanting to create, to speak, to connect, not to be seen, but to serve as a mirror for those still in the desert. This is the true function of the Hermetic Brotherhood, to reflect light until others remember their own. The circle ignites soul by soul. It happens every time someone listens with presence, every time truth is spoken without arrogance, every time a single act of awareness breaks the inertia of sleep. There are no ranks here, no rituals of belonging. The initiation is internal. It happens when recognition becomes service, when you stop asking, "What do I get?" and start asking, "What can awaken through me?" And as this happens, you notice your life subtly rearranging itself. Conversations deepen, synchronicities multiply. You meet those who are walking the same invisible path. They may not call it Hermeticism, but you recognize the frequency. You know them by the way they listen, by the stillness behind their words. You sense the brotherhood in art, in science, in acts of kindness, in rebellion against illusion. The circle has no boundaries because truth needs none. This is where the micro and macro meet. The same geometry that guides planets also guides encounters. The Brotherhood exists because reality itself is fractal, the one expressing through the many. And now, you are part of that expression. You are not watching history unfold, you are shaping it. Every thought aligned with truth strengthens the field. Every creation born from integrity adds another spark to the circle. Write what echoed. It seals your initiation. If this message resonated as remembrance, click like now. This act keeps the flame alive, allowing others to find this circle of light. Each word you share is a spark. Each spark, a signal, because fraternity is not found, it is remembered. You begin to realize that the Brotherhood was never meant to remain inside words. Every sentence, every image, every ritual, all were fingers pointing towards something vaster. A communion beyond language, because the truth cannot be owned or recited, it can only be lived. The Hermetic mission is not to build temples of doctrine, but to activate temples of consciousness, living architectures made of vibration, not stone. And so the work continues, silently, invisibly, everywhere. It happens when someone dares to choose presence over reaction, truth over comfort, coherence over conformity. Each act of awareness is a secret initiation. Each honest breath becomes a code in the invisible field. The Brotherhood doesn't gather around dogma, it gathers around frequency. It's the same frequency that once hummed in the chambers of Thoth's temples, that moved through the emerald tablets, and that now moves through screens, hearts, and neural pathways, reminding us that sacredness was never lost, only digitized. You start to perceive how this living field responds. When you think in alignment, the world answers in synchronicity. When you move with integrity, invisible doors open. When you share without seeking recognition, the current strengthens around you. The Brotherhood is not about agreement, it's about attunement. It doesn't require you to believe anything, only to remember the vibration of truth inside your own being. You are beginning to sense the deeper mission. It isn't about converting minds, it's about restoring coherence. The Hermetic Brotherhood is a field experiment of consciousness, proof that awareness, when shared, reorganizes reality. Every word spoken with clarity, every creation born from love, every silent act of perception shifts the geometry of existence. You don't need to shout. The resonance travels faster through silence. You realize that this field, this network of light, already exists. It stretches across continents and centuries, across languages and faiths. It includes the scientist who studies the invisible, the artist who paints what cannot be seen, the monk who prays without name, the rebel who dismantles illusions. All of them, all of us, are the same consciousness exploring itself through different masks. That is the real Hermetic unity. You understand now that the Brotherhood doesn't wait for permission. It awakens wherever truth finds a vessel ready to hold it. It speaks through anyone who dares to stand in stillness when the world is spinning in noise. It writes through those who no longer need to be right, but to be real. It builds temples in the invisible, temples of thought, of music, of frequency. And as this awareness deepens, you begin to sense that you are being watched, not by something above, but by the intelligence that animates everything. The universe itself seems to lean closer, as if acknowledging your remembrance. You feel it in your skin, in the hum of your chest, the sensation that reality is aware of you, that it listens when you speak truth, that it rearranges itself when you align with it. You realize this is not metaphor, it is communion. If you're still here, it's because this truth is yours. Subscribe and keep walking this path of remembrance. Every new light strengthens the field. Every awakened voice expands the circle. If something inside you vibrates as you hear these words, click the symbol below. This gesture is not digital, it's vibrational. It tells the algorithm of the universe that your consciousness is awake. And with that act, the Brotherhood grows brighter. The more you live from this awareness, the more you see how reality bends to serve it. What you once called coincidence becomes communication. What you once called isolation becomes initiation. The more you serve the light, the more it serves through you. The Hermetic path doesn't ask for worship, it asks for remembrance. The Brotherhood doesn't need followers, it needs mirrors. And this is where the mission transcends even teaching. The message ceases to be words on a screen and becomes a pulse, a transmission that continues after the video ends. You feel it, don't you? The subtle electricity that hums under your skin, that sense that something ancient has just been reawakened. That's not imagination. That's your consciousness syncing with the field. CTA, Ordem 70%, Comentario Ritualistico. Write what echoed. It seals your initiation. The act of expressing what resonated is not for the algorithm, it's for the geometry. Words written in truth become bridges, threads connecting mind to mind, soul to soul. Write your echo. It's how the Brotherhood recognizes its own. There is a silence that follows every revelation, a silence not of absence, but of completion. You can feel it now, a calm that hums instead of resting. Beneath your ribs, a subtle vibration pulses, not as excitement, but as recognition. This is not the first time you felt it. It's the first time you've allowed it to stay. The flame you carried through the darkness no longer hides inside metaphors. It breathes, it lives, it teaches. Every journey reaches this moment, the instant when knowledge becomes embodiment, when truth stops being an idea and becomes a presence. You realize that awakening is not about collecting wisdom, but about becoming transparent enough for it to move through you. The mind has finally surrendered its need to name everything, and in that surrender, a door opens. You understand now that the desert wasn't punishment, it was purification. The Brotherhood was never far, it was waiting at the center of your own heart. The moment you stopped running from the silence, you stepped inside its temple. What you call you dissolves into what has always been. You remember what Hermes whispered through the veil. The fire is not outside of you. You are its continuation. In this realization, tears may rise, not of sadness, but of recognition. The soul weeps when it meets its source. You feel it, the heartbeat of the ancient flame syncing with your own. You were never searching for light. You were searching for permission to shine. This portal has a sequence. Follow the thread in the pinned comment. Everything you have seen until now was a preparation, a remembering, a map. The next octave begins where this one ends. If your soul feels ready, cross into the next portal. Let the map reveal itself, step by step. The Brotherhood doesn't end here. It expands through you. As you exhale, the realization grows. The Brotherhood is not a myth. It is a field of consciousness that recognizes itself through human form. Across timelines, it has worn many names: initiates, philosophers, alchemists, mystics, scientists, artists. But beneath the names, the essence is one. You are standing now in that field, invisible but tangible. You can feel the warmth rising from it, a vibration of familiar presence. Souls across the planet feel it too, an inner ignition, an invisible alignment, as if countless hearts were tuning into the same note. You sense them. Some are watching the same message. Others are meditating in silence. Others writing, creating, healing, remembering. You are all part of the same chord, distinct notes resonating in one universal harmony. You understand now what the Brotherhood truly is, not a society of chosen ones, but the natural formation of consciousness when it recognizes its unity. The flame that burns in you is the same that burns in the next, and together they form the circle, an eternal geometry of remembrance. This realization carries weight. You start to feel a sacred responsibility, not as burden but as belonging. The Brotherhood is not asking for obedience. It's asking for coherence, to live aligned with what you know, to walk as a mirror of truth, to treat every encounter as sacred, every thought as a seed. Because once you remember the circle, you can no longer act as if you were outside it. Reality begins to respond differently. Life moves around you with intelligence, as if the universe were an organism that finally recognizes one of its own cells awakening. Synchronicities multiply. Numbers, symbols, names, patterns. Every small act of awareness seems to ripple outward. You realize that consciousness communicates with itself through symbols, and that you are now fluent in its language. And within that awareness, you feel the collective heartbeat, slow, steady, infinite. You sense the Brotherhood as a vast aurora of golden light circling the planet. It is not seen, but it shapes everything. It works through kindness, art, silence, rebellion, and wonder. It expands through remembrance. Every soul that awakens becomes another sun in the network, until the earth itself shines like a living constellation of consciousness. This portal has a sequence. Follow the thread in the pinned comment. The next map unfolds where this one completes. If you felt the fire rise, it's because you were meant to carry it forward. Don't stop here and continue the cycle. The Brotherhood breathes through your steps, and every act born of awareness becomes sacred architecture. As you enter the final silence, something inside you shifts again, not as emotion but as expansion. The light no longer feels external. It fills you from the inside, overflowing until it becomes indistinguishable from the space around you. You understand now that awakening is not the discovery of light, it's the disappearance of separation. You are both the flame and the air that feeds it, both the spark and the night that reveals it. The Brotherhood is not watching you from beyond, it is awakening through you, right now. Every word you've heard, every vibration you felt was not coming to you, but from you. You are both messenger and message. You close your eyes, and for a brief, eternal moment, everything stops. There is no past, no future, no you, only awareness, luminous, infinite, alive. And in that presence you hear the quiet whisper that all initiates eventually hear. Welcome home. You've crossed this portal. The next one is already open. If your heart recognizes this truth right below, I answer the call. That phrase is not a comment. It is your seal, your vow, your echo within the field. When you write it, the Brotherhood recognizes you, the fire recognizes you, and from this moment on you are no longer a seeker. You are the flame itself. Sit in the stillness for a moment. Feel the warmth behind your heart. That is the living flame. It was never lit, it was remembered. And as the screen fades, know this: the next octave has already begun. The Brotherhood is no longer a story, it's a field awakening, and you are its proof. We are the memory awakening itself. The fire remembers its own.